David, good afternoon, or good evening, and thank you very much for taking the time out to speak to us this afternoon.
My pleasure.
It's amazing to see the efforts that some of our sci-fi Star Trek fans and the lengths they go to emulate some of the characters and to be part of something bigger than what we have in today's world. I suppose I'd like to ask you, have you always been a Star Trek sci-fi fan, and where did the interest first start off?
I have been a massive Star Trek fan since the very beginning. I mean, I'm old enough to have seen it when it was, when it was first out. So I've loved it forever. Grew up on it. Followed all the series. I love them all. I do love science fiction in general, massively. But Star Trek is where it started for me.
Yeah.
Star Trek, and then it branched out into many things. We always come back to Star Trek, and it's a real passion,
I noticed that you're here today as a Ferengi character.
That's correct.
What would be, and this is a hard question for anybody to answer here, I suppose favourite of the Star Trek genre shows, what would be your favourite show, and what would be your favourite characters?
Gosh, okay. The immediate answer, I think, on show is the classic, because that's what brought me in. But you know what, they're all very close behind. I don't have I don't like this particular series. I love that one, and that one's okay. They're all great in my books, but my heart is for the original, because that's how it started for me. And with regards to my favourite character,
Yes.
across the whole lot,
If you had to pick.
gee whiz. Okay. Kirk. Because he's been the hero that's been with me for longer than anyone else, actually.
Yeah.
So that would be my answer.
So, as we all know, Ferengi and Ferengi species idolise the idealisms of free trade, profiteering, and making money.
Absolutely.
Or making nothing.
Yep.
What was your inspiration to choose a Ferengi, and what is your affiliation to the Ferengi?
Well, I've been to many of these conventions, the Trekologies and then others around the country, and I'm always just someone who's a Star Trek person. And I thought, particularly today, we've got a very special guest star in Garrett Wong, but we've also got Chase Masterson from Deep Space Nine, married to a Ferengi. And I am a trader, and this is some of the small amount of my stock, and I thought, well, it makes sense. Let's be different. It's very rare that you'll see a Ferengi, so my choice was to be Ferengi today. Not the best of, but we get the idea. So it was nice to be different, have a bit of fun with the customers. I wasn't just being David, I was being Ram. I created a character. I was Ram, and I was quite abusive and insulting, and they loved it. So good fun.
Tell us a little bit about how your journey into trading, and trading specifically, I suppose, in Star Trek, stroke sci-fi material.
That's a very easy one for me. Again, going back to the early days, loved all the TV series and films that there were. Started to buy a few things. Started collecting very quickly. Started collecting doubles. So I bought one, I bought another. One opened, one not. And I did this at a very young age, which I was really surprised about. Then I found I liked many items, many subjects, Star Wars, Star Trek, Back to the Future, Space 1999, Thunderbirds, you name it. I was really a passion for everything. I have my favourites, but it was everything. So over the years I've been collecting, and it got to a point where I had to take on storage because it wouldn't fit at home. I moved out, and there wasn't room in the loft anymore, so I rented storage. And then it got to a point where I started doing conventions, and there weren't so many conventions in the days when I first started out. But what I found was that the dealers weren't very approachable to the customers. It was very much, you're over that side and I'm on this side, and unless you're buying from me, I'm not interested in you. And my attitude to that is, no, whether you're going to buy from me or not, I'm going to come and talk to you, and hello, and what do you like? And I just brought a different approach and felt that people didn't have to buy. Please, look, yes, buy, I'd love you to, but you might buy next time. So I started bringing out some of my personal collection as the years went by. I bought stock, but then I released some of my earlier stuff from when I was a kid. Very difficult to do, by
Yep.
the way, because I have an attachment to it.
Yes.
It becomes very much, oh, I want this.
Mhm.
So started selling some of my personal collection, started collecting more, started buying more for my personal collection, and then it seems I have like its 5-year run. I collect all this merchandise, and in 5 years' time, I start selling it. So I'm not competing with the same people because the market gets saturated with all the stuff. So that happened. I've grown to a point now where I've got these very large storage units from where I work, and I've got a new office being built at the moment, and some other things that I do, which maybe we'll come on to later. And I came up with the name for my organisation, it was just a pure chance. I was in Walt Disney back in 2001, and they've got an all-year-round Christmas shop. I went, it's a lovely idea, Christmas every day. And I came up with Santa Claus.
Wow.
So I'm called Santa Claus, and people remember me because they remember me. And I've been trading full-time only the last few years, and thank goodness it's been very successful, and the people are happy with the amazingly interesting and old, hard-to-find items that I've got. So that brings me up to roughly where I am today. Let's say this is just a small part of it.
So from David Limburg, the Santa Claus man, would you like to tell us a little bit about the Vintage Toy Man and what your ideas behind that are, and where that will lead you in the future?
Right, well, Vintage Toy Man came about just recently because I've been approached by a couple of companies that want to do a TV show with me, and I also had my own plans about doing a TV show, so we're getting together on a few ideas. And whilst we're talking, I suddenly realised if we do a show, Santa Claus doesn't make sense as a name. It's been very good to me, and I'll never let it go because people know the brand. So I thought, okay, let's come up with an idea under Santa Claus. So I came up with Vintage Toy Man, and clearly, excuse the phrase, it says what it is on the tin.
Yes.
Okay. When you say, hi, I'm David from Santa Claus, so you must only work at Christmas.
Yeah.
Vintage Toy Man, instantly, oh, you must sell classic and interesting items from film and TV and old toys, and that's exactly what it is. And the show will be about my journey round meeting people, buying merchandise, selling it elsewhere, maybe selling it online at a convention, at an auction, which I will hold. I've held auctions in the past. And then I'm thinking about travelling further afield to America, going to Japan where some of the products are made. America love the products, so I'd like to go out there with the stock and sell it to the Americans directly rather than just online. So I'm looking at storage out there in not San Diego, Laguna Beach, Los Angeles. So I've got a plan out there, and then the final part of the idea, I'm very fortunate. I've got some really good friends from Hollywood and other genre in the UK and around the world that are from science fiction, and they're good friends of mine. And the idea will be, again in the show, I'll go around to them, or they'll come to me. I'll do an interview with them, like we're kind of, what are you up to right now? What are you doing? How's your latest book, or what TV series are you in now? I understand you're not in Star Trek anymore, so what do you do? And I'm doing this. And then once we've moved on from that, it'll be, do you remember all these products? This is you when you were in Star Trek, and this is the ship that you flew, and it'll be things like that. And then we get to the end part, and this is where I want to try and make it even more interesting and special. So, what have you got for me today that's in your